"Your kids are eating too much," my sister said, and she slid the paper plates right out of my children's hands. It was our family summer barbecue at my parents' place. A folding table sagged with side dishes. The new stainless grill hissed under the pergola I'd paid for. I was holding tongs, flipping chicken thighs. My 8-year-old, Nora, had picked 2 strawberries and half a corn. My 6-year-old Eli had a slider with no cheese because he still mixes up dairy-free with no yellow. Bree pinched Eli's plate between her fingers and lifted it over his head like it was a dirty napkin. "Save some for the priority grandkids," she said, loud enough for the cousins and uncles to hear. Her twins were by the soda cooler, each with plates piled sky-high with ribs and watermelon cubes. My hands didn't move. The chicken popped. The smell of brown sugar marinade stuck to the back of my throat. Eli looked at me, with his mouth in a tight line. Nora stared at her empty hands like she'd forgotten what they were for. I heard a few nervous laughs. Somebody clinked an ice scoop against a mason jar. My mom said, "Oh, Bri," not as action, but as a shrug. Inside, I snapped. Those were my kids. Those were my groceries. I saw the Costco receipt in my head like a status bar. $1,197.64. 2 whole Packer briskets, 4 racks of ribs, 30 lbs of chicken thighs, salmon philalelettes, buns, tortillas, sauces, drinks, my card, my trunk, my Saturday morning. But I didn't make a speech. I didn't even clear my throat. I set the tongues down on the little tray, wiped my fingers on a towel, and walked to the folding table where the unopened packs of meat were sitting in a cooler. I pulled out the contractor-grade trash bags I'd brought for cleanup. I started loading the cold meat back into the bags, salmon back into its sleeve, ribs into the bag, briskets like heavy babies wrapped in paper. Aunt Pam watched me. "Honey," she said. "It's fine," I said. My voice didn't sound like me. I nodded at the freezer packs. "Can you grab those?" She slid 2 ice packs across without arguing. I kept packing. I sealed the bags, tied double knots, and carried them to my car. I went back for the condiments I'd bought, and yes, even the buns. I left the hot stuff. That felt fair, but every unopened thing went with me. We buckled the kids in. They were quiet. Eli clutched his empty paper plate like a steering wheel. I put the trunk down and looked around the yard one last time. Bree was staring, mouth open, laugh frozen. My mom lifted her phone like she was about to take a picture she could control. I didn't say goodbye. I just drove. 4 minutes later, my phone started vibrating in the cup holder. By the time we hit the light at 45th, there were 47 texts in 10 minutes. "Where did all the food go? Are you serious?" That was for everyone. "You can't just deal. Call me back now, Kay. This is petty. People are hungry. Come back and be an adult." I kept my hands on the wheel. The light turned green. "I'm Kaylee. I'm 34. I live in Seattle in a 2-bedroom townhouse near Green Lake. I'm a UX designer, married to Matt, who does it for the school district. We have 2 kids, Nora, 8, and Eli, 6. They are kind, soft-spoken kids. Nora draws comic strips about a cat detective. Eli asks people how their day was, and actually listens to the answer. My parents live 20 minutes north in Shoreline. My sister Bree is 32. She lives 5 blocks from them. She has 5-year-old twins, Mason and Mia. Since they were born, my mom has called them the priority grandkids. At first, I thought it was a joke. It wasn't. 2 years ago, after my dad's knee surgery, I set up a joint checking account I named Family Fund. I was trying to help. I added my mom as a joint owner. I set a $300 weekly transfer from my paycheck. The idea was simple: one place for groceries, for Sunday dinners, birthday cakes, and big family events. No tallying who paid for what. I made little cards for everyone to use at the store. I put it all in a doc with the login and the rule. Family stuff only. Then it slid. I covered their power bill 3 different months when the family fund was low. $382, $46, $395. I bought the 900 grill for my parents' yard because Dad said ours would look cheap in photos. I paid $4,800 to replace their rotting fence because Mom said it would be a safety issue with the grandkids. I covered the Costco membership. I added my card to their Instacart because mom kept forgetting hers. Streaming accounts too. It was easier to keep the passwords the same. We did a Disneyland trip last year. I paid for the Airbnb and tickets because mom cried on the phone about making memories. $6,214.85. On my card. When we got there, the twins had the only room with a door and the new bunk beds. My two were on an air mattress in the hallway. I said, "Hey, can we swap for one night?" Bree rolled her eyes and said, "Your kids sleep anywhere. Mine need their routine." I took a walk and told myself not to ruin the trip. At Christmas, I bought iPads for all the grandkids because my mom made a comment about keeping them equal, and I was still in this fog of being useful. Nora got a Rogue for my parents, size small, even though she's tall, and the sleeves hit her elbows. Eli got a $5 gift card to a coffee shop that doesn't even have hot chocolate. The twins got matching scooters from my parents too, with helmets and pads. I smiled for the photos. I went home and cried in the shower so the kids wouldn't see. Little things piled up. My kids didn't get invited to Cousin's Day at the trampoline park because we kept it to the little ones. Mom ordered zoo passes for the grandkids and only sent photos of the twins petting goats. When I asked, she said, "Nora is not really into animals." Nora had literally just finished a school report on octopuses. At Sunday dinners, if there were 6 cupcakes, I watched 3 slide to the twins' plates and the others get cut in half so everyone gets a taste. But I kept paying. I told myself I was smoothing the rough parts. I set up a spreadsheet so my brain could pretend this had edges. Then last month, Bree asked me to cover a $2,300 backslash she wanted for her kitchen. It would make hosting so much nicer, she said. It's for the family. I said no calmly. I even offered to help her design a cheaper option. She hung up on me. After that, I felt the shift. Fewer texts, less info about plans. A joke from my mom about how some of us don't understand priorities. So, when Bree took food from my kids' hands and called them overeaters in front of everyone, it locked into place. This wasn't about a plate. This wasn't about one barbecue. It was a pattern. I funded it and they were punishing my kids for me not buying tile. I saw the family fund in my head. The weekly automatic transfers, the balances, the list of upcoming charges. I realized that for years I'd been paying for a family my kids weren't really in. We drove home in a hot bubble of silence. Nora kept her eyes on the window. Eli counted blue cars. My phone buzzed across the console like a trapped bee. "Mom, you ruined the party. Bree, bring back the meat, or we're done." "Dad, call me. Also, there's a lot of people here waiting to eat." At a red light, I opened my banking app. Face ID blinked me in. Checking accounts stacked like tidy drawers. Family Fund sat third from the top, with a balance of $8,420.19. There were pending transactions scheduled for the next 2 weeks. A Costco order, $612. A party supply store, $84. A refundable deposit to a lakeside cabin for Labor Day, $500. My stomach did a slow, cold flip. I pulled into our garage. Matt helped the kids out. "Are we in trouble?" Eli asked. "No," I said. "Not even a little." We got inside, set the bags of meat on the kitchen island, and turned the AC up. I hugged both kids until they squirmed away. I sent them to the living room to build a fort. Then, I sat at the dining table with my laptop. Matt put his hand on my shoulder. "Whatever you decide, I'm with you," he said. He meant it. He'd warned me for years. He never said, "I told you so." I went to the bank site because some things are easier to do on a real screen. I clicked Family Fund. I opened the settings. There it was. Joint account with L, my mom's name. Authorized users, Bri and Dad, each with a card number. Under transfers, I toggled off the $300 weekly deposit. It asked, "Are you sure?" I typed yes. It asked me why. I chose change in circumstances. It felt like both nothing and everything. Then I clicked close account. A pop-up warned me, "This will cancel all pending transactions. Any remaining balance will be transferred to your primary savings. Joint owner will be notified." I read it twice. I read it again. My hands were steady. I hit confirm. There was a whirl, a little spinning circle. The balance line faded to gray, then snapped to zero. A second later, my savings jumped up by $8,420.19. An email hit my inbox. Account closure confirmation, family fund. Another email. Pending transactions canceled due to account closure. Refunds will be processed in 3 to 5 business days. I saved the PDFs. I opened a plain text new email to the family group. Subject: Family Fund Body. Hi all, I've closed the family fund account and stopped all transfers. Please plan and pay for your own events going forward. I will not be reimbursing past or future expenses. K. I hit send. Then I turned my phone face down and went to the kitchen. I preheated our oven. I pulled out 2 trays. Salt, pepper. I opened 1 bag of thighs and laid them out. I brushed on marinade. I set the timer. Nora came in and asked if she could help. I gave her a pastry brush and let her paint sauce without worrying about drips. Eli carried forks to the table like he was guarding treasure. When the timer beeped, we ate chicken in rice bowls at her own table. There was too much food for 4. Matt said, "Good sauce, chef." Eli said, "It tastes like summer." Nora asked if we could have a picnic next weekend. Just us. After dinner, I finally flipped my phone over. It lit up like a police light. 37 missed calls, 83 unread messages. The family thread was a fire hose. Mom, what did you do? Bree, you are unwell. Dad, this is about the backslash, isn't it? Don't punish the whole family. Mom, people are hungry here. The twins are crying. Aunt Pam, call me when you can. Cousin Jamie. I saw what happened. Not okay. I put the phone down again. I tucked the kids in. I lay on the floor next to Eli's bed, until his breathing evened out. My chest hurt in that empty lungs way after a long run. I had finally done one single thing. Not a scream, not a scene, just a click and a confirmation email and a reminder. I could choose. In the morning, my mom was on my porch at 8:12 a.m. She didn't knock right away. I watched her through the peephole as she squared her shoulders, scrolled something on her phone, and sighed like a martyr. I opened the door. "You made your father look ridiculous," she said. "No, hello. 40 people. Do you know what that looks like?" And closing the account dramatic. I stepped aside so she could come in. She looked around our small entryway, like she was evaluating its resale value. "You embarrassed us." "I took home what I bought," I said. I kept my voice level. I could feel my hands wanting to flap. I didn't let them. "And I close an account that I fund." She folded her arms. "This is because I asked Bri about backsplash money. This is because my kids had food taken from them and were called too much in front of everyone," I said. "And it's not the first time." "Oh, that you know," she jokes. My mom wagged her hands like she was batting away a fly. "The twins are growing. They need I'm not doing this." I said, "I won't find a family my kid isn't part of." She blinked, and I saw the exact second she decided to pretend she didn't understand. "So, you're punishing us? Us? After all we do?" The cabin deposit will be refunded." I said it was pending. "The account is closed." She gaped. "We already told people." "Then you can tell them plans changed." I said, "You can't just decide things." She said, "I can decide where my money goes." I said, "That's all I've decided." She stayed long enough to circle the argument 3 more times. She tried sounding reasonable. She tried guilt. She tried tears. When those didn't work, she tried disgust. "Matt put you up to this," she said at one point, and I almost laughed. She knows me well enough to know that I don't get put up to things. After she laughed, the texts ramped up again. Breeze sent screenshots of group chats with my cousins. As if public shame would do what private didn't. A few cousins piled on. It was just me, but a few checked in. Jamie wrote, "I saw you pack it. I would have helped. I'm sorry I froze." Dad called from a blocked number like he was trying to trick me into answering. When I did pick up, he started with logistics. "So, we can do a new account, just me and you. Your mother doesn't need to be on it." "I'm not doing another account," I said. "I'm not your backup bank." You make more than Bri, he said. It's easier for you. I pay my mortgage and daycare and my own groceries, I said. I won't pay for you to treat my kids like extras. He went quiet, he muttered. Something about entitled that sounded more like habit than thought. Before he hung up he said smaller, Your mother's been excited about that backsplash. I know, I said. She can be excited about something else. Aunt Pam stopped by with flowers and a bag of hamburger buns from her freezer. I should have said something right then. The whole priority thing has gotten out of hand. It's been out of hand, I said. I didn't mean it like a slap. It came out like a weather report. The refund notices pinged in over the next few days. The cabin deposit back into my savings, the party store cancellation, a refund from Costco for a scheduled delivery I hadn't known Mom had planned for Tuesday, and the family thread plans unraveled. A Facebook post went up from Bri about boundaries gone too far, and then she took it down. Mom texted a photo of the twins eating popsicles with red faces, captioned, See, starving? I didn't respond. This was the part I hadn't practiced, the staying quiet after the decision. In the past I'd break and send paragraphs explaining everything. Like, if I could just show my work, they'd grade me fairly. This time, I kept my answers short when I answered at all. I'm not your backup bank. I won't fund a family my kid isn't part of. Please stop texting while I'm at work. They cycled through anger, logic, nostalgia. My mom sent me a photo of the three of us when we were little on the rusty swing set. Family is everything, she wrote. Exactly, I wrote back. A week later we had our own barbecue, just us and whoever wanted to come on our terms. I sent a small text to the family thread. We're grilling Saturday at 1. All welcome. No reply came, which I expected. I texted Jamie separately. She said, I'll be there. She brought her two who are close to Nora's age. They came with a bowl of cut cantaloupe and a bag of chips. We set up our old charcoal kettle on the tiny patio, the one with a dent on the lid. Matt rigged a shade with a bedsheet and clamps. Nora drew a menu on printer paper. Chicken, corn, watermelon, cookies. Eli lined up lawn chairs and labeled each with sticky notes in his best block letters. He left 2 empty chairs at the end of the row without names. He didn't do it like a message. He did it like hope. I marinated the chicken in a zip-top bag, the same brown sugar sauce. Nora stood on a chair and brushed each piece before it hit the grate. Eli counted down the minutes on the oven timer like a referee. Jamie shared a story about building Lego spaceships until midnight. We ate off paper plates, the cheap ones that soak through if you're not careful. No one took anything from anyone. At one point, I went inside to get more forks. I saw the Costco receipt still stuck to the fridge with a magnet, the one from the barbecue that wasn't. I took it down. In its place, I taped up the picture Nora had drawn that morning. 4 stick people around a grill, smoke puffs shaped like hearts because she's 8, and that's how air looks in cartoons. In the corner she'd written our barbecue and put docs under the words like confetti. The doorbell didn't ring. The empty chairs stayed empty. The sky was that pale Seattle blue that looks new every time. The kids laughed, mouths full of watermelon. They fed tiny triangles to the dog through the fence. When we cleaned up, Eli put his mom's sticky note in my pocket so you don't forget where you sit, he said. Like a joke and not like fear. After everyone left, I sat on the step and looked at our little yard. The grill, the chalk drawings, the plastic dinosaurs half buried in the planter. I thought about the account closure email sitting in my inbox, about the words I used, dry, polite. I thought about all the times I'd made myself small in my own family to keep the peace that wasn't really peace. I texted one last thing to the family thread. It was simple, and it was the last thing I needed to say for a while. I love you. When you're ready to treat Nora and Eli like family, our door is open. Then, I put my phone face down. I rinsed the pastry brush and set it on the dish rack. I checked that the oven was off. I tucked the sticky note deeper into my pocket just to feel it there, and went to help Eli catch lightning bugs he swore he saw, even though we almost never have them here. He cupped his hands and laughed anyway. It was enough.